Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is part two on a series around caring for your body during your recovery. In the last video, I talked about the impact of stress and trauma upon our bodies and how it can really throw everything from our appetite to our sleep patterns to our immune systems off the rails. Today, on part two of this video series, I want to share specific ways and easy tips for caring for yourself and supporting your body during this time. I can remember in the days and the weeks and months after my D-Day and just how the intrusive thoughts would sort of slam at random times during the day, and I would physically not be able to catch my breath. I can remember sharing this with my therapist, and she reminded me to really focus on what was in my hands to control during that time. There was so much that was out of my control. Everything in my life felt crazy and chaotic, but there were some simple and small ways that I could care for myself during that time. I didn't have to overcomplicate things or add any overwhelming activities to my plate, and neither do you. So here are the 5 simple practices that worked for me back during my recovery and still work for me today. The first one is breath work, which is really just intentional breathing. In high stress situations, our breathing tends to be more shallow. We tend to keep our breath up here in our chest, when really we need to be breathing full breaths into our diaphragms. This is an instant way to bring calm and ease into our bodies. And it's a really effective tool for those moments where we can feel the overwhelm of the stress and the trauma. There's also breath prayer, and I recommend this book by Jennifer Tucker called Breath as Prayer. It's a gorgeous resource if you want to learn how to do that. The second practice is around using our senses. So again, this is similar to the breath work in that using our senses allows us to really focus and hone in on what's in our immediate surroundings. There's a method used in therapy called the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. And so for this, we want to look around and take our time and focus on 5 things we see, 4 things we feel, 3 things we hear, 2 things we smell, and 1 that we taste. The third practice is called grounding or earthing. And as with the other 2 practices of concentrated breathing and using our senses, this one also really can help us recenter and become more aware of our surroundings. So for those of us who maybe don't prefer to walk around barefoot, this could feel a little uncomfortable at first. But the basic idea is you want to put your bare feet into a part of the Earth's surface. So the sand, soil, grass. And what science has shown is that the Earth's natural electric charge will help kind of offset some of the stress or the inflammation or pain in our bodies. It can lower our blood pressure. It can help with sleep patterns and improve our blood flow. The fourth practice has to do with eating the rainbow. Now listen, I know that our appetites and our digestive systems are typically in a state of disarray during this time. We may not feel like eating a bunch of nutrient-dense foods, and that is entirely okay. This is honestly maybe not an entirely simple practice because it does require some thought and some planning, but there is a strong link between what we eat, our nutrition, and how we feel mentally. The two really go hand in hand together. So eating the rainbow, it basically means choosing a variety of colors to fill your plate. We may not feel like the same sort of immediate relief as we would with the other practices, but it does pay off in the long run. The last practice is around movement. Instead of placing extra demands on ourselves right now or shoulding ourselves, for instance, I should go to the gym, I should eat better. What if we thought about movement as a type of medicine for our minds and bodies during this time? Trauma can cause us to feel as though we've kind of come out of our bodies, and it's sort of like we're having an out-of-body experience. So movement can be a really effective way to kind of bring us back in and reconnect with our bodies. Our movement needs will probably change every day. You know, some days we may feel like going to the gym and sweating and pumping a bunch of iron. And other days we just want to maybe stretch or do some yoga or go on a walk outside. And that's okay. The point is to find a form of movement that works well for you. Just to recap, when caring for our bodies through our recovery, we can focus on what's in our hands and choose the simple option. Sometimes the most simple thing we can do is ask ourselves a question. How can I show my body care today? After we ask that question, we can take some time to listen.